They're the worst.
They're the worst.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Reboot or Deboot. As always, I'm Noah Davis.
I'm John Pena.
And we're here to talk about the 1940 film Rebecca, directed by Alfred Hitchcock and written by Robert Sherwood and Joan Harrison. Big picture, I guess.
Eesh. Oof. Owie. I hope that reading the book was way better than this movie.
Oh, this is a book?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I can't even imagine. Yeah, big picture.
Famous book.
Oh, wow. I'm going to get out of the way and say I haven't seen a ton of Hitchcock movies. You know, I've seen Psycho and Rope and all that jazz. This is the worst one I've seen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not even close. Yeah. You
Yep.
could have told me it was any 1940 director. The fact that it's Hitchcock actually, I think, somehow makes this worse.
Yeah, because you're expecting more from it, for sure. No, I get that. Yeah, I guess that's big picture, honestly, because, I mean, there's literally not a lot more to say in the grand scheme. But,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we could vaguely dissect the plot, but just watch the movie if you want to know the plot or read the book.
yeah, positives, not much. I'll just preempt that. You want to go into specifics or me?
You can start.
I will say I enjoyed how quick the script was, but also at the same time, how quick it was actually kind of detrimental to a lot of things that I'll go into detail in the negatives. I
That's
also
really positive.
no,
Okay.
I have a few more, but not a lot more. I enjoyed Miss Danvers, the character and the
Mhm.
actress. I thought she nailed it. I mean, if that's where the trope comes from, nailed it. I mean, you know, that's a good origin for a trope to have, you know, the evil maid who might be evil, who might not be evil, who knows evil kind of thing. Nailed it. I enjoyed the sense of anticipation that the movie brought about, but again, that's also detrimental after a while, so it's kind of, I have half positives. You know, I don't think any of my positives are really full force. Oh wow, that's a positive point right there, you know.
Right.
I didn't get any of that. I also enjoyed how uncomfortable I was, but at the same time kind of not after 2 hours of it. I also enjoyed the twist on the twist, but at the same time,
Jesus
it
Christ.
wasn't enough of a twist to really matter in the whole just grand scheme again. Just the picture as a whole, it was fine. You know, some things were fine, but nothing really stood out to me other than Miss Danvers. How about you? Positives?
Well, I'll start with just a comment, which is
No, there are no witches.
which is just that the overall sort of make of this type of movie is one that I would like never pick out. This is to me headcanon classic old movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not in that it's all tropes, I guess.
I mean, it might
Though
have
they're
originated a lot of them.
right, exactly. Though it may have originated most of them. Like in my head, the whole time I felt was like they were going to call the fucking mystery gang to come and solve, and Scooby was going to pop out of the mystery van. And
They should have.
like, it just felt like one of those type of old movies that, again, Scooby-Doo spoofs.
Yeah, I'd
So
rather.
let's, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think I would to that point. I think it honestly would have been more fun if we had some sort of detective point of view. But we didn't get any of that. And actually, the cops seemed like bumbling idiots. And there's a lot of things that I don't know. It's one of those things where, you know, is this the original? And if so, do I give it some credit where credit's due? But at the same time, if it's not fun to watch, then do I give credit where credit's due? You know, it's kind of it's kind of backwards. I don't know in a way to just review this movie. You'd have to do a clean slate and never have seen any other movie or TV show ever, and then maybe this would be kind of great. But since that's not how the world works or, reality works, it's wasn't fun to watch. I got some negatives if we want to go into that.
No, no, no. I have some positives.
Okay,
I haven't
okay.
even gotten into those. I just said I had a big picture sort of statement beforehand
Oh,
because it
gotcha.
couldn't leave my mind before I started talking about stuff. I think it's cool that she never gets a name. She's always just his wife, or Miss whatever the fuck his last name is.
Didn't she have a name?
Nope. It was literally just like the second Miss De Winter was it. She never got a name.
Are we sure? We're 100% sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Huh.
Even in the wiki, it's credited as the second Miss De Winter.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's neat.
And, they refer to her as child and stuff. And, oh, go get that little old lady kind of thing. But no, never an actual first name, which obviously contrasts the Rebecca-ness of it all. And then, shoot. Yeah, I guess all mine are sort of half positives after that one. I really tried to go through all of them one by one, and yeah, they're mostly negatives. So yeah, let's just rip on them. You start with the negatives again.
Yeah, I can go with the negative. So to bounce back to my other point with the quick script, I'll also say that the delivery, I think that's the better choice, or even the dialogue, because if you're trying to get through that amount of dialogue, either the delivery or the dialogue was too fast, and there's so much they're saying, and yet it means nothing to anything other than just dude is talking really fast and he's shooting out paragraphs, within a sentence's time. It makes it feel jumbled, especially at the end when they kind of quit talking. There's so much just pointless conversation at the beginning that okay, there's a tidbit there, there's a cool bit there, every now and that at the end they're barely talking, and it's just such a I wish it had been more consistent. I wish if he's going to talk at lightning speed for the first 20 minutes, do it the entire time. Uh, and just, it kind of brushed over so many things because of how quick it was. And I messaged you about it, and I'll say it again. All the interesting parts seemed to be glossed over, and the uninteresting parts became the entire movie. And that's
Yeah, I
no
mean,
good.
yeah, there's many a negatives to talk about.
Yeah.
Another one for me is again maybe some 1940s-ness of it all, but how frequently weird and almost like explicit this is, like in how not only like women are treated, but some basically dumb bimbo taking over the high estate, and they do not sugarcoat it. He's like, "Well, I can't wait to make wild love to you, your sweet little thing," or
Violent
something like
love.
that. Yeah, and you're like, "Wait, what?" And then he calls her like his little idiot because she's like dramatic, But at the time, I only learned this the other day, but idiot is like there's idiot and moron and stupid and blah 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 blah. Idiot is like when all those words sort of came around is the actual lowest IQ one. So he truly was like being really rude,
Yeah, I
which is just
mean, and
interesting.
and to that effect, all the lines about it's a pity you have to grow up. Oh, you have to, what do you
Right, you've
say?
aged
Or be
so
a
much in the
36
last
year
hour.
old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never turned 36.
yeah, and I'm just thinking, what are you talking about? What is going on here?
Yeah,
Uh,
like the
I
context is he wants his 16-year-old bride.
yeah, which is we never got her age. I don't think, did we?
No,
Okay, yeah. And so he's just I don't know, almost shoving it down our throat for no real reason. even at by the end of the movie, I still didn't understand. He just seemed to have a fetish for younger women, and that's, you're a rich aristocrat, whatever. I was about to say aristocrat or whatever, but I, it just felt weird. It felt weird, because we're supposed to have some sort of sympathy for this guy. Maybe not always a good guy, but the movie clearly wants us to have some sort of sympathy, and yet there's nothing redeeming about him. Literally nothing. Just nothing. He's not nice. He's not funny. He doesn't really do anything. He's never really shown to be super smart. He's not relatable. I just don't understand.
Yeah, like why you're rooting for them to get together and be in love.
Yeah, why is this a love story if I don't give two craps about either of the love people? I just, it doesn't, I don't know, it didn't mesh well for me. Also, I'm just going to touch up on it, and I know you already have it teed up. The overacting
Mm.
was
Hmm.
pretty egregious here, especially that his brother in law. I thought his brother in law was basically out of a comedy, just a Abbott and Costello kind of thing, because, oh, good thing you don't sail. And then he looks over and it takes a full freaking second or two. And then he makes this weird emotive face that it really doesn't play well for me. Or the dashing cousin or whatever, which that's a whole other thing we'll get into.
Yeah, we
Uh,
have to do a whole minute on that for a sec.
the dashing cousin, he seems to be super overacting, and just even the main woman. There's no subtlety to this movie. I think that might be my biggest issue.
Agreed. I think the only actually this was a positive. I forgot. I mean, it was annoying, but obviously intentionally done. Was like when they are first like in Monaco, and they like she's the paid attendant of some wealthy and obnoxious lady.
Mm-hmm.
That wealthy obnoxious lady is a good character.
Yeah, no, she
Like
was
that's
actually good,
done in the right style. Like it is over the top still, but it
but I think
sort
in
of
a
pays for it to be
realistic,
over the top. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
there's room to overact and there's room to be exaggerated, but when there's no balance to it, that's the problem. And this movie didn't really have balance to it all. It just kind of, I don't know. It almost assumed that we'd care about a lot of these people instead of actually making us care about a lot of these people. You know, even Rebecca, the titular dead person. I didn't really get a sense of her. Just, oh, she was the lady of the house, and people thought she was hot.
Well, I think you grow to get a sense of her. Like
I
everyone's
mean, by
obsessed
the
with her.
very
She's
end.
beautiful and smart, but turns out she's just kind of a nut job and manipulative, and is sort of queen of the world in her own mind.
Also, didn't understand what she did so bad. Did I miss a line or something?
In what?
Why did the main guy hate her so much? Just because
Oh,
she was
because
cheating?
no, no, no. Because literally from like their fourth day of marriage, she
Yeah,
basically was like, we don't love each other. Like this is all sort of a sham, and we
right.
could annul this now, but you'll be an embarrassment, or you can let me live the life I want to live, and you'll get to keep all of your sort of a stately charm. And so he again thought she's beautiful, but is now just like living this lie, and he's not even really married to her, and she's just getting fucked by other guys, and
Her
all he gets
cousin.
is sort of the title of being her husband. So
But
she's like completely using him.
go fuck other women? Am I don't know.
No, because he's a cuck.
I'm just, yeah, I just don't understand. Yeah, she sucks, but you hated her with all your passion enough to sorta kill her, but not really. I just,
1940s, man.
yeah, I
All
guess
you
that's
want
it.
is a what does he say? Brains, breeding, and beauty, and she
Yeah.
had all three.
Also, are we acting as though the main woman wasn't beautiful? That kind of threw me for a loop. What did the
Yeah,
40s think was hot if this woman isn't?
I think that is also part of the point is like the whole, quote unquote Britishness of it is to say that this girl who isn't a British aristocrat could look however, she just doesn't fit into this mold. So we're just going to pretend as though she's less than or uglier than she is, or that she's not Rebecca, despite being gorgeous. So I think they kind of lean into that sort of mentality.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think that's
know.
part of the sort of casting specifically of like a very beautiful person.
I don't know. I think they were just calling her ugly. But
No, that it felt intentional. It felt intentional.
I also, why am I supposed to care about two lovebirds when I didn't see them fall in love in any meaningful way? And it's
Well, that's
just,
that was part to the other point that there's no reason for anything to happen. The whole movie,
mm-hmm,
they locked eyes, and he's a wealthy old guy, and
mm-hmm,
she's a pretty young thing inside the same ballroom as him, and that's it.
yep. And
I
that's
mean,
how true
technically, it's a
love.
hike where she thinks he's gonna kill himself. I don't know why all these old movies start with a fucking suicide
Suicide.
attempt.
It literally is the opposite of Sabrina.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be technical, it starts by her thinking he's trying to kill himself, and he's really just like sort of admiring the life that he could have had. And then he sees her again and is like, you know what? I'll come back, and entertains the fucking old lady. Blah blah blah. Now they're in love, but
Marry me.
again, I think that's just old movie. Two pretty people fall in love, and not like this is a thing built to last.
I guess so, but I just don't understand why I would care within the confines of the movie. Even if I brush past it's unrealistic, they didn't give me any material to really feel their love. It just seemed as though they were both crazy. Why would I care if two crazy people do crazy things? I don't know. Even if we take out the timeline, it just still within the movie's, 2.5 hours or however long it was, too long. I didn't get any sense of, oh, I wish them the best, or oh, I'm really rooting for them, or none of that. If anything, it just made it worse. And then the ending didn't really resolve anything because if everything's worse, then that's even worse. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff, and like I said, all the interesting things got rushed over. How Rebecca, she used Danvers' name at the obstetrician. Is that was that an obstetrician? Is that the baby doctor?
Obstetrician is a pregnant person's doctor. Yes.
Okay, well, I don't know what that guy was, but she used the Danvers name at the obstetrician. You know, it would have been really cool. A scene that kind of delves into that, Instead, it said, oh, she used the name Danvers. Oh, it's not Danvers. Just, well, I get that, but you just brush over it so nonchalantly. Um, and even when he's retelling the actual quote unquote murder scene, he's just retelling it, and there's no real stakes. It feels I don't know, the parts that I was most interested in just breezed by. Meanwhile, I have to watch 15 minutes of a girl sitting at a desk, not writing anything, and breaking a whatever porcelain doll. What just
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Like,
pacing was a huge problem.
yeah, the way this goes, this reads, the story is interesting. Clearly, it's just not well done in this iteration. Like,
No.
it reads probably way better than how it comes out on the screen.
I sincerely hope that's the case, because if not, damn. If Hitchcock did a one for one rendition of it, damn, I'm disappointed. But yeah, I hope it's almost on the production end, like it's their fault rather than the actual story's fault.
Also,
Also, yep.
oh no, you go, you go.
No, mine was kind of
Well,
in game, so
oh, mine's Endgame as well. I was just gonna say, this thing, it kind of it won. I think Best Picture in 1940 and Best Cinematography.
Get out of here.
And the whole time I was thinking it must have gotten it just for the ending where they're like pushing through fire and stuff because it probably blew the socks off of people in
Yeah.
1940s. Like
Oh yeah.
how is there are we is the movie theater on fire? You know, like the train running through like first movie kind of thing.
Also, to note on that last shot, everything must have been absolutely covered in asbestos. Everything was not burning the way it should be burning. just, just so we're
Well,
clear, I'm
yeah,
sure that was great for the
right.
set and all the workers.
Well, and like again, it's probably just fake fire and all that kind of shit too. Speaking of, do you happen to have the movie and or link near you, real quick?
No, I was gonna talk about the ending a little bit, but
Yeah, go for it.
okay. I didn't care for the revelation. You know, the big, oh, she actually had cancer and she was dying. It didn't it didn't quite change anything other than the main guy's fate. You know, it didn't none of the implications earlier, oh, is he a murderer or not, or why she love him when he's a murderer or not a murderer, and then he
Right.
admits to the murder. None of that really changes because it all still happened, other than okay, he gets off scot free. And I don't know. This movie's so weird. It was not fun to watch. It was pretty dull a
It's
lot of the
hard to
time.
watch.
Yeah. One might say it was hard to watch. Uh-huh. And it did nothing for me. I don't think there's anything that really sets this apart to say, "Oh yeah, that's a fine movie." It's very middling. It might be a little worse than middling.
Yeah, I think it's worse than middling.
Because I wouldn't, I don't think I'd recommend this to anyone.
I would not.
So, what was the link for?
Um, if you click play, I linked it at the timestamp where you're like zooming into the bed through the fire.
That's gonna affect the recording, so I can't.
Okay, well, afterwards, there's a spot. It's 2 hours, 9 minutes, 57 seconds. You can clearly see something on the bed. I just can't tell what's on the bed. Like in the center of the frame is the R, and you're like, oh, it's Rebecca's bed. But I can't help but look past like what looks to be like a dead bat or something on the sheets.
Oh, we'll look after the episode. We'll look. Before we get to letterboxd or anything, do you have any more negatives?
Nope.
Predictions for the reboot.
Oh God, I hope it's better.
Oh
I
yeah,
hope it's better.
I
I
have
hope
a
they do their own modern twist on it. Even if it's set in like the 60s or something, I think will make it better. The fact that there will be color likely will make it better. Um, I think it's similarly long, like 2 hours, and this is whatever 2 hours, 10 minutes. So we'll see.
yeah.
But
Hopes or suggestions for me. I hope they cut a lot of the I I hate to say the word filler, I really do, but I hope they cut a lot of the filler. I hope they make their relationship at least make sense. You know, yeah, he clearly seems this weird emotionally abusive guy, but again, it needs something to play off of. No one just falls in love with the abuser just because they're abusing them. That's just you even fall in love with the person, then they happen to be abusing you. You know, it's
right,
not just this one lane. So yeah, I need that. I mean, I didn't really care for the direction or the editing. It might have been impressive at the time, but hopefully they have something that kind of puts a little pizzazz in it. Uh, the Miss Danvers thing, I think that's gonna be hard to pull off. I wonder
and like a
how
modern setting.
yeah, I wonder how subtle they're going to be within their adaptation, whatever. Um I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's a ton you could do to make this way better. I just think you could hone in some things from the original. I think you could, you know, evolve it so that's it's not just of the time. I think you could make this a timeless thing, but I don't know if you could make this, a perfect movie, or I don't know if this movie allows room for it, or
Yeah,
maybe, yep,
I suspect it'll be a bad movie to an okay movie.
yeah, that's what I hope. That's what I hope. But and maybe they'll even take notes from the book more. I don't know. I don't know the background, so maybe the reboot is more like the book than the original, but in a different setting or different characters, whatever you want. I don't know. I hope there's almost more buildup and more payoff because the original, the payoff is what? Crazy lady burns the house down. What did that? Where did that go? You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Where
no,
did the characters
I
develop?
I have an idea, but I don't want to ruin the letterboxes for you, so I'll read the letterboxes and then
Okay,
we can come back.
I think that's it. Honestly, I just hope the characters actually feel like characters and not just these weird. What's the word? Not stereotype, but
Cookie cutter.
archetypical. Or what's the word for it? Just yeah, cookie cutter fits, but more characters. All these
Stereotypical,
characters just seem like
prototypical.
characters. They don't feel living and breathing. I don't get that at all from any other than maybe Danvers, but she doesn't do anything. She just is static throughout and then burns the house down. So yeah, I hope there's more evolution in the reboot. But that's it.
Okay, couple things. Like always, when something meanders like this or doesn't establish the things we like, I tend to go, this would probably be better as a TV show. And
Maybe.
they did do miniseries in '97, a British and an American one. Um, and funnily enough, both done the same year in 1997. That did apparently get decently well received. Its budget was 1.29 mil in 1940 and made six, so humongous blockbuster.
I mean,
And
I
obviously,
mean,
like I said, won two different Academy Awards.
yeah, wild to me. 1940 must have been a slow year.
Yeah, dude. I mean, again, this won best cinematography, and we both agreed it's like bad. Like
Nothing crazy.
Hitchcock's
Yeah.
name should not be attached to this.
Yeah, and again, this is as someone who has liked Hitchcock films I've seen. I enjoy those, so it's weird to it's not based in nothing. It's not as though we've never seen a movie ever before. I'd say we've seen plenty between the two of us. So
Yeah,
it's just yeah, it didn't really do
it
anything
leans
for me.
Citizen Kane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it didn't set my house on fire, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, letterboxes. So this got a whopping 4.1 average stars across
What?
2,000 voters. Yeah,
What?
and
This got
the
reviewed
top
better than Sabrina? Get the fuck out of here.
two of the top three reviews are basically the same sentiment.
Slow
Justice for that.
burn.
Nice. Justice for that poor lesbian housekeeper. Miss
Oh,
Danvers invented the psycho lesbian cliche.
I mean,
So, in that context, now if you reframe the whole film under the eyes of, oh, the housekeeper was literally just in love with her in ways that the husband could never,
yeah.
she knew everything about her and blah, 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 justice for Rebecca. And now you're like, oh, that's why she's crazy. That's why she's telling this fucking chick to jump off the ledge. And
Yeah, but I kind of got that. I don't know.
but no, but you said she was stagnant, but I feel like she did
Yeah,
develop
she was
into a crazy
stagnant. She
bitch.
was just the crazy bitch the entire time. She's pranking,
No.
telling her to dress up like the lady. She's putting the Rebecca thing, the note on the desk. She said, "Go to the desk where Rebecca writes stuff," and on the desk was Rebecca's stuff. The lady's crazy. She just stayed crazy the entire time. I don't know.
All right. Rude. And then uh, this one's a little longer, but again, alludes to things we've already said. What made this great for me was that, again, Joan Fontaine, the lady who plays the wife, having no name and being referred to only as Darling or Miss De Winter, ends up making this incredible contrast between a ghastly, overly mentioned Rebecca. You know you're that bitch when you cause all this conversation.
Is that
And
is that
last
a
but not least,
review?
yeah, exactly. Last but not least, long story short, a lavender marriage gone awry with a lesbian house manager that needs therapy.
I mean, I don't even know. Are these even funny? Just
No, it's like it's as though Twitter took on movies. Is how I'm sort of getting it.
maybe
Like everyone
we,
thinks they're witty.
yeah, maybe we need to look up 1 stars and 5 star reviews,
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
see what that's like. Because I couldn't imagine watching this movie and thinking it's great, just at all.
Here. I filtered by half a star. I'm just gonna click the top one.
There we go.
Another bona fide piece of turgid garbage from the master. A profoundly insufferable cinema for the dullard. Did not finish, will never finish. Hope to be free of the man's movies for good. Jesus Christ.
Oh man, see, now that's funny. It's funny, especially because Hitchcock can make fantastic movies. So yeah, that's funny.
Just because it's old doesn't mean it's good. Clown emoji.
Thank you. That's just I'm clapping. Well, I'm not actually clapping, or else my mic would pick it up. But I'm clapping.
Wasn't really paying attention because this film is so boring in all caps.
I
Boring and exhausting and so fucking boring.
Yep, and I always like to deflect by saying, "Oh, well, I like the movie M, which came out 8 years before this." So it's not just old movies. It's just Rebecca was not a good one, in my opinion. But is that it? Is that all we got?
I'll read one more for the fun of it.
Hit me.
Alfred Hitchcock is a nerd. This is a terrible movie.
Yeah, okay, this is a new segment. We put the top and the bottom because we should have been doing this the whole time, honestly.
Yeah. We'll have to go back after this and see if it's worth
Yeah.
re-mentioning some of these on another episode.
All right.
So I also, just as a part of the commentary for what we can suspect the 2020 film to have,
Yes.
I'm gonna call this. It's either a boot or a reboot.
It better be.
I don't think there's any way this can be a deboot. I'm struggling to figure out. All you'd have to do is pay homage the entire time to Hitchcock, and you'd at least make the same movie.
Yeah, agreed. But at the same time, what if they have editing issues, or what if Army Hammer, who's canceled, what if Army Hammer just sucks it up? There's plenty of room to be a deboot. I just really, really hope it's not. But I think that's all for part 1.
Yep.
Okay, that's been part 1 of Rebecca. Join us in a few seconds when we talk about the 2020 reboot. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 11. Now we will talk about the 2020 remake of Rebecca, aptly named Rebecca, directed by Ben Wheatley, written by Jane Goldman, Joe Shrapnel, and Anna Waterhouse. Big picture. Lay it on me.
Boot.
Yeah. Yeah. If we want to just...
Big old boot.
Yeah, I've been struggling deciding upon which it is, and
basically firmly tells you which one it is.
There are things it does right. Like I said to you before, there are things it does right, but for some reason it feels a little muddled. It's kind of odd. I mean, we can pretty much get into specifics anyway, since we got Boot out of the way. But yeah, what's some positives you got?
I just prefer color movies, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It just brings the set so much more to life.
Right.
Even literal ocean shots, you're like, oh, right, water. Not just gray. I don't know how much hyper specific positives I have. I do have hyper specific negatives, but I'll just generally say it was one of those. It would have been better if there was more controversial bad shit I could point out or good shit I could point out. Like, oh, if Army Hammer was just excellent in it, or insert character that they decided to retell slightly differently was wildly different. But they basically just went through and through the same plot, through and through the same people, and then decided to do like 2 major changes.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. I don't
Yep.
really know that I have big positives.
Yeah, I mean, I have positives, but I tend to agree with you. It's almost as though it was afraid to swing for the fences kind of thing. It just I I think we said it last time where or at least I think I mentioned it, where I don't know if you have a room to make a perfect movie with this exact plot. And the reboot literally kind of proved that point. Whereas there's some quality things, just the background stuff, costuming, set design. You got that. You got some okay acting. You got this and that. You got fine direction, but there's just nothing setting it apart to any other movie ever created. I
See, to
think.
me, those things that you're saying though aren't positives.
I mean, I
Those
think
just
they're well
aren't
done.
negatives. Like
I mean,
when
it's
I think
they
when I think
weren't terrible direction or anything. I think if it's serviceable, that's maybe not a great positive, but
okay,
it
because
makes it.
when I think positive, I think did something stand out? You
No,
know, is
I'm
this something
just
noteworthy for this movie that they did? And I go, nah.
I just have to point it out. I don't know that. I mean, if it's serviceable, if I'm unoffended by it, I mean that's better than not. It's better than the other case.
Oh,
Uh,
totally. I was saying my approach to doing these positives and negatives
right.
is different than
Yeah, so everyone with that recontextualization, go listen to our other podcasts again and, put that back into context. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that they actually even went for the period piece. I think modernizing it could have worked, honestly. I don't think there are that many things you would have had to have changed, but it worked, the period piece and just recreating the exact same time frame or whatever year it was that it took place in. So I enjoy that stuff. And like I said, the costuming, I mean, his outfits were sweet. Just like that really yellow suit. I mean, yellow's
yeah, like
god
the
awful
three piece.
ugly. But
Yeah,
yeah, but it worked for this and it worked for that character of being kind of rich and loud. But, obviously his personality's not that, but he's got money. Um, so I just have to acknowledge the basics. They did the basics right. I just don't think there's anything. It might even be a negative that it was inoffensive in a way, because there's just nothing else here. It
right. It's just an indifferent reboot, basically.
Yeah, and that's not the greatest. Whatever commendation you could give a movie is just, yeah, it's a movie for sure. Yeah.
I will say it's not a negative or positive, but you brought it up. The time period aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that they went for like gunshot, you know?
Yes.
Like
Yeah, I don't
again,
know
I don't know if
why
that's a
they felt
negative
it
for you
changed.
because it's
Mm-hmm.
right. Like it wasn't a horrible negative or anything, but just
No.
yeah, why would you change the way he murdered her if it doesn't change anything about the court case? Like just a weird change. Like I was kind of thrown back by like, oh, are they really going for it different? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it provides the audience with more of an extreme because in the original it seems, as though he didn't actually kill her, even though he kind of tried or wanted to or was tempted to or basically did but didn't actually. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe they thought, "Oh, well, this way it shows the new wife is even crazier." Cuz she says, "Yeah, I'll be with you, you absolute murderer." you I don't know if that's the right take, but maybe that's what they were thinking. Other positives, I think the intro was well done, even if it was just kind of shot for shot remake, pretty much. I do enjoy that we actually got to see some banter and see their relationship develop more than the original. I think that was a lot better. It wasn't just a dude super talking fast or talking super fast and kind of skimming over pretty much anything charming about the man. Whereas this De Winter, okay, I could see a woman kind of falling for this dude. He's got some wit and he's funny sometimes and, mysterious. I think that is better than the original. And that might, that's kind of as far as it goes, being that much better than the original. I just like that we actually got to know them instead of being forced into this weird assumption of, oh, of course they fell in love in a week, you know?
Totally. I also have a weird point to make, which I think is generally true amongst different movies like this, but this is teetering a very fine line on psychological thriller. Like, I think it's largely a name alone, as opposed to what anything about the movie itself is doing. I don't know how you feel about that, but like, I feel like most of the eeriness that's included here, or any sort of unsettling vibe, is totally done through either rapid cuts or from the music in the background, and not inherently the movie in terms of the acting, in terms of the writing and dialogue, or even like the choices that they make for what the action is on screen. Like, unless they've changed like the tone of the shot, like it's now blue, white, gray, black instead of, or like bright red. Like there was that one scene where she's like, in that group of people and they goes like flashy red and hyper cutting. But like none of that's really the movie as much as is like post, like effects and things. So to me, it was just weird.
I do, yeah, I see your point that it did kind of lose the tension, at least.
There it
There,
is.
yeah, there's nothing inherent about the actual story script or feeling. It was kind of spelled out in a weird way. It wasn't subtle in any way, which I mean, the original did have tension and it did have almost a haunting presence. So I don't know. I mean, I think this movie tried to streamline things, but just streamlined things wrongly, if that makes sense. It seemed as though their veering off was just kind of wrong turns. I mean, it didn't make it that much worse or better or however we feel about this movie. But yeah, it's not implied, it's explicitly, hey, you should feel tense, without actually doing any groundwork. Um, I will say, oh, and I think the movie looked good. Maybe not the actual direction, but I think the cinematography, the camera work, I think it looked good. And that's kind of the end of my positives.
I
So,
forgot. I did have one positive.
uh-huh.
The same character that we liked from the first one, sort of, kind of the you know angry lesbian who couldn't get their woman.
Yeah, Danvers.
Yes, but and that's a Taverner from, what's it called? It's the horses.
Which one's Taverner? I knew she looked really
The
familiar.
the head of MI5 lady that then gets cucked by the dude in the later
Uh,
sequel.
okay. I knew she looked super familiar, and I'm sure I've seen her in maybe something else too. But yeah, for me, I didn't put Danvers on my positive because kind of big shoes to fill, you know? She did the job. She did it well, but I wasn't getting that vibe, that oh shit, this woman's crazy vibe from the original. Whereas I liked the supporting cast more in this one than I did the original. So it's almost this weird weighing
Like
out the
flip.
acting. What are you gonna say?
I just said flip. Like they flipped
Oh, yeah.
you know, as opposed to the main cast, it's the supporting cast.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of all I have for positives. You got anything more?
Nope.
It's really weird. I want to address this before because I don't have a ton of negatives. It's kind of weird because this movie almost doesn't give us a lot to work with in terms of discussion or critique. It does almost the exact same beats, but does them ever so slightly different that there's almost no room to, oh, interpret it this way, or oh, that was interesting. I would never say interesting about these specific choices. I mean, we'll get to the negative, the very specific negative I have um regarding this, train of thought. But I don't know, this movie is just whelming, That's the meme word, right? Just
Hmm.
whelmed. I was very whelmed the entire movie. And it's kind of disappointing because I think the original, I mean, I don't think we loved it. So they had room to go further, and it just didn't. It just, I don't
Right.
know,
They
it
could have done a
kneecapped
million different
itself.
things, and
Yeah.
they just did a remake that was mids.
Yeah, and it wasn't even. And the thing is, I think if they did a real shot for shot remake, I think that actually might have been better because they could have
Right.
taken the modern costuming, the modern camera work, the modern acting. Not everything overacted to death. They could have done that and then just literally done a shot for shot remake, and I believe that could have, had it ascend further than the original. Instead, we get weird choices that kind of muddle things and makes the pacing a little awkward. So I don't know. But negatives, you got any big ones?
Yeah, a couple.
Mm-hmm.
One, obviously, the quote unquote change or Ben Wheatley's quote unquote take. Uh,
Thank you.
l- little lackluster. I mean, not only is I mean, again, it's more two parts, right? One, she's in on it from way earlier and she's helping him come up with things. It's not like spur of the moment, the guy making the calls, which the first one definitely felt like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In this one, she's definitely like with him through it because we're in love and blah, 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 and we can conquer anything, which again does play up their relationship more, but not at the point at which I needed stakes to believe it. So I'm still in that same qualm of only a couple of things were added before that to make it a better relationship. I still don't know that I have a justification to love a murderer.
Right.
And then, then the big twist, or the big add on um, of the lady not burning in the house and that whole thing. And now they have one last conversation before she jumps off the edge. Like, kind of defeats the point of
I
like
I was
the
gonna get to
crazy
that.
bitch.
I was gonna get to that. Yep.
So like, if she's not even that crazy, and you all can just chat it up before she kills herself, like, why did you burn the house? Like, none of it made sense. And even though they talked about it, and like, I understand the justification, if you watch the original, that's like one of the better scenes of the original.
Yeah,
So
if not
it's
the
a
best
little,
scene of the
yeah,
original.
it's a little annoying to see
Y-
that done to that.
I'll loop around to my other negatives, but yeah, speaking of choices, like I said, there's some choices they make right. Like when we first meet DeWinter's character and she does the faux pas of talking about him in front of him, and that's good. I like that. I enjoy that. But like you said, specifically the ending, I'll also add specifically the doctor visit. The
Oh
visit
God, I forgot. Yeah, I meant to say that too. Holy
Yeah,
hell!
I did not understand the reasoning, and if anything, like I said just a few minutes ago, it made the pacing really odd, as though, she's in this pursuit to steal medical files, as if that's gonna change the doctor's, interview or response or whatever. It's going to change the doctor's diagnosis or something, or the doctor is going to say, "Yeah, I don't remember anything." Even if they show him a picture of the woman or of Rebecca, you know, uh, it didn't really make sense. Whereas in the original, they just all go to the doctor, and that logically, sure, that
Well,
adds up to me.
and that's why I have a couple problems with it too. So like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, not only is it a character difference, right, which is why it's a negative.
Right.
She is being weird and behaving in not a way that we would expect her to. She's
Yes.
either smarter than the character from the first film and is meticulous in planning, and thus she has a reason instead of like haphazardly scurrying to try to find it and read it first, which is a fucking weird take.
So weird.
But also, the doctor walking up the stairs prior to getting into the office while she's still snooping
Mm-hmm.
says, I see a lot of patients. I don't know. And ostensibly, they've told her it's Miss De Winters.
Right.
And then he's looking through his files, and we know that they do the fake name again. And he says, it's not here. But there never would have been a missing file. He would have just said, I don't have that patient. Like, it wouldn't have been a missing file.
I didn't think about that.
because he's looking for
Um,
the other name.
you
I was
know,
like,
I
wait.
like to try and poke holes in plot holes, so I might have to go back and watch that, but I believe you.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
mean,
wait, what? I mean,
yeah,
again, and maybe I missed something too. I'm not saying that I was paying the most attention at this point because it
right.
was also
It was
veering
weird.
and a little boring.
Yep. Yep. It's weird because this movie suffers almost the exact same issues as the original in that after a while it's just kind of I don't know, I got over it after a while. After they got to Mandalay and all that, I just thought, "Oh, well, okay. I mean, this is a movie."
I
But
also didn't I
hmm,
didn't count the total amount of dialogue-less scenes where we got random shots of like the interior of a car and her driving around, but it wasn't like pretty or scenic. It wasn't like a panning shot of the ocean or a panning shot of a forest. It was literally like her driving behind the police and getting to the car, and then people arriving in front of the house. But it was somewhere like 5 or 6 minutes. I was like, what the fuck are these scenes for? Like, who needs to be told that they drove to the house? Of course they drove to the house. Show me at the house. Like, you don't have to get me from the courthouse to their home.
right.
And it
Yeah.
was literally like 6 or 7 minutes of this like back and forth and people arriving and walking fast, but didn't like add to the thriller element and
No.
definitely took away from the pacing.
Yeah, it was almost what's the word? Almost synthetic tension. Just,
Exactly.
oh, it should be a car chase or not a chase, but it should be a race there. It should be that. And oh, she's hiding. Where's she gonna hide? She can't hide there. She can't hide here. And it was just, yeah, that entire sequence was just constantly that, and it didn't do anything other than make it a weird tonal shift. Because we haven't had because I feel as though that is kind of straying into almost horror when a thriller should kind of work almost on its own. I mean, obviously those things interlap, but it just felt almost like a cheap horror tactic. Oh, he's the shadow of the curtain. He pulls the curtain. Oh, she's there or she's not there. Actually, she's there. It was just weird. And I'm just gonna jump to the ending, the problems with the ending. Like you said, the jumping in the water didn't make sense. Maybe some weird metaphorical sense, but I assume they almost wanted to represent that she wanted to be
Join
with
her in the ocean.
Rebecca,
Yep.
but
Yep.
Rebecca was pulled out of the water.
Yep.
So,
But the spirit, it's still at sea, and
and
it's also in the
also,
west wing of the house, which she burnt alive.
also, was she wearing any sort of, chain or rope or weighted, was there any
she was
weight to her?
she was holding the suitcases, I think, which theoretically could have been weighted,
Yeah, I
but
was about to say
she could have just
that's
also
not,
died on impact.
yeah, I guess so. I was just
That was kind
thinking,
of how I was thinking she died. It didn't make much
oh,
sense, but I was just
well,
thinking death on impact.
well, I was thinking she wanted to drown herself like Rebecca, and I'm thinking that's going to be tough without, strapping yourself to a giant rock or, or a cinder block or whatever. That's going to be tough just to kind of drown yourself. I mean, that can't be easy. So yeah, and even it definitely takes away from the fire at Manderley when, she just catches it on fire and then it's almost has to do nothing to do with the actual plot implication. Oh, the mansion's on fire and she kills herself, and then they just move on. They just, there's no, it's not as though in the original, the place is on fire and you see Danvers in there, and, that's got to scar the De Winters for sure, mentally. Whereas this, it's just, yeah, your house burned down and then a lady talked to you for a second and then jumped off a cliff. There's almost no power behind it, there's no punch. It's just you wanted to kill yourself in front of new Mrs. De Winter. What did that accomplish? Even from Danvers' perspective, what did that specifically accomplish? Because you would assume she wants revenge. I mean, she almost says it as much in her ending. I don't know if you call it monologue, her 3 sentences. Uh, she kind of wants to mark them with, whatever, Rebecca or her, whoever, it doesn't matter. So just catching the house on fire and then jumping off doesn't really do anything, especially because and here's my other problem with that, all of Rebecca's memories are in the house, right? So if you
That's what
burn
I
the
said. She
house
burned her
down,
alive and then didn't join her in the ocean. It was like both bad takes in this version.
well, no, but what I'm saying is that Rebecca's memories, if you burn the house down, now the De Winters have sort of a mental escape. Why would you need to think about Rebecca ever again? Because that was the old house. Why, I wouldn't you want Rebecca's spirit to haunt them more? Wouldn't you want to force them into Rebecca's presence? Instead, it's just, well, they get to make a new house because they probably had insurance because they were, basically royalty or whatever they were. And it's just, I don't know what the point was here. It
I don't
just,
think there was one.
it doesn't make any sense to me. That's my big specific negatives. Do you have more? Because I have one more.
The last ones were also just sort of about tone setting and pacing, but
Mm-hmm.
again, I think a lot of it ham-fisted by the cutting and these long tracking shots that don't do any justice to the actual scenery, as I mentioned with the driving, but also the music
Yes.
and a crazy one, the Foley. I have never ever neck bearded out movie nerded about the Foley artists, but what were they doing in this? Like there are like knocks on doors and door shuttings, and maybe it's like the sound editing, I guess, that were like disturbingly clearly not the sound that the door would make. I don't know who's at fault. I don't want to blame the Foley artist specifically.
Who's at fault?
Maybe it's the sound department in general, but yuck.
Yeah, I didn't really notice the Foley things, but yeah, I was gonna say the score is really off. It felt, cheap feels a little too demeaning, personally. I don't want to just say, oh, this musical person cheap. It sounded so off as though it didn't fit this movie. Even the cheery music almost gave this cheesy quality. Maybe not cheap. Cheesy, I think, is a little better. Just
They chat
on the
GPT
nose.
music, bro.
Well,
It's 2020.
let's not
It's
go that far.
2020. It's AI music.
It didn't add anything, and if anything, it's distracting, and that's when it becomes a negative. Is when it's not offensive, but you notice it. And if you notice a score, without being blown away, that's a bad thing. You should never really notice a score. It should be
Holy
a
crap.
compliment. And instead, it was almost an insult to the other, parts of the movie.
This guy's got an insane discography or filmography that he scored for.
Uh-huh.
He's done basically like a shitload of Aronofsky films. Pi, Requiem for a Dream, Fountain, The Wrestler, Black Swan.
Huh.
Yeah. But he's also done all Ben Wheatley films too. Rebecca, Happy New Year, Colin Burstead, High Rise, In the Earth. So hard to know.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to call this guy cheap sounding because obviously he's
Right.
probably a really talented musician. It's just, I think most of the score was a bad call.
Tim Rockwell Moon. You liked that movie, didn't you?
I do like that. Is that what Ben Wheatley did?
No. That was Duncan Jones.
Oh, right.
Warcraft movie director.
That's David Bowie's son.
Uh-huh.
Damn it. I've seen something that Ben Wheatley did. I just don't know what. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The score just didn't really fit. The changes were kind of, I want to say bad, but they didn't make it better. Any other specific negatives? Because that's all I got here.
Oh, was the last one the score as well for you?
Yeah, no, that my last one was score.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yep. I put score and put a question mark because I was thoroughly confused. Oh,
For the listener, since we already went on a derailment to the Ben Wheatley-ness, I'm just going to go down his filmography list.
we might as
He's got a
well.
movie called Down Terrace,
Nope.
Kill List,
Nope.
Sightseers,
Nope.
A Field in England,
No.
High Rise, the
Oh,
Tom
wait.
Hiddleston movie.
Yes, because I read the book and then watched the movie. Yes, yes, I've seen that race. You know what? Actually, since we're on this tangent, that movie actually changed a lot about the book that I didn't appreciate. So maybe it's a Ben Wheatley problem here.
There it is.
Sorry, Ben. You've been had. You know, I
You
figured you
done
out.
got.
Yeah, because they fused these two characters, and you know what, not even gonna go into that, but maybe
Yep.
this is all a Ben Wheatley issue.
Okay, to continue down the list, Free Fire. Got
Oh yeah, Free
Cillian
Fire.
Murphy,
Yeah,
Army
yeah, yeah,
Hammer.
yeah. I actually like Free Fire. Not love it, but I like it.
Oh, well, maybe reverses our call here.
No, because it wasn't. I don't think it was based on anything. So
yeah, no. It looks like
yeah, so it doesn't count.
Then the two ones I've already named before, In the Earth, Meg 2, The Trench was his work.
Wow, I have seen that movie, so I doesn't really.
That one's based on 1999 novel.
Well,
The
I think
Trench.
the first wait. The second one's based on a novel? Is the first one based on a novel?
I have no idea.
That doesn't sound right. The second one's
so
weird.
It's based on a movie called The Trench. The first one's based on a novel, Meg, a novel of deep terror.
Wow, I did not know this was a book series. Yeah, the second one's really weird. It goes into international politics and underwater, and there's like a Chinese mercenary group or some shit. I forget. It's a really weird movie. Not good. But
last but not least, Bulk and Normal. Done.
Okay. And letterbox reviews, any funny ones or some Wikipedia knowledge?
Both. We'll start with the letterbox because I accidentally, even though I was just in the Rebecca wiki reading some stuff at you, I accidentally just closed.
You son of a.
No, okay, I got back open real quick. Thank God. So there's a variety comment in like the sort of reception tab that I just wanted to read because it's like a formal critic review. Quote, for about 3/4 of the running time, Rebecca does a respectable job navigating between respecting the source material and establishing its own identity. And then, precisely at the moment where it starts to make enlightened improvements, this Rolls Royce of an adaptation veers off the road.
I don't know.
Disagree hard.
I don't know what the Rolls Royce part.
I think it's just big budget, lights and flashy and blah, blah, blah.
And if anything, I think the beginning changes were actually way better than the ending changes. So I'm not sure.
Agreed.
What that person was watching.
The budget on this is not listed.
Oh, classic Netflix.
Deep diving.
Damn, Netflix not legally required to tell us that.
Apparently, on the IMDb page, budget was roughly 18 mil.
Jesus,
not sure what their source is.
Not sure if it's worth it.
Again, who knows how they justify what makes money and what doesn't, because we've seen great things get canceled, so who knows?
Netflix.
All right, some reviews. Again, smorgasbord of popular ones, low-rated ones, high-rated ones.
Yes.
This movie's generally reviewed low. It's a 2.6. I think everyone dislikes it relative to the original.
I mean, I can see why. I'm not sure I agree, but I can definitely see why.
But the problem is that other people liked the original.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, that's why I can see why. I don't agree, but I see it.
So here's a couple. Alfred Hitchcock always said, quote, make the audience suffer as much as possible, quote. And my man, Ben Wheatley, really took that quite literally. 1 star.
I mean, that's a good one.
You can just tell that Army was already mid-divorce here. 2 stars. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Because, like, I don't think his character is, like, that problematic in this. Like, relative to the first one. Like, there's even only one mention of, like, calling her young girl.
Yeah, if anything, he's a lot more respectful and charming than the original. So, if anything, doesn't mean that he was in the middle of a divorce, just personally speaking.
And then last one here. I'm fine with unfaithful adaptations or finding a jumping off point to explore inspiration, but this one is not that. Instead, it's a total bastardization of however you say the author's last name, masterpiece, that not only drains the extremely thorny piece of proto feminism, this tragic doomed romance, of
Wait,
any ambiguity, but
okay.
it also turns it into a junky pseudo empowerment, complete with a tacked on happy ending. Absolute garbage. Ben Wheatley, as usual, is very bad.
Uh, I need to tackle a couple of those points. One, it's not presented as the same ending, but it is literally the same ending as the original. Just so we're clear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the shots are different, of course, and Danvers' death is different, of course, but it's the exact same ending. It just happens to give you some sort of positive outlook at the end. Um, what?
But maybe my point is, did he watch the Rebecca first one, or did he just read the book and then call this tacked on happy ending?
Oh, I see what you're
Because he
saying.
compares it
Yes,
to
yes,
the
yes,
book.
yes. Hmm. Maybe you have to look
And
up
we
a
don't know the
synopsis
source
for that.
material.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
What was the proto-feminist thing? What?
Yeah. Uh, it drains this extremely thorny piece of proto feminism. So, ostensibly, he means to say that the original work was
Like
sort
the
of early
book?
feminist movement, but it was, yes, but
Okay.
that it, wasn't true feminism in the same way we would contextualize it now, because obviously back then, different takes about what moving towards equality looks like when you're just treated like shit.
Yeah, well, see, I was thinking they were talking about the first one with, I mean, and if anything, the first one fucking demeans women and is very misogynist, you know. So I was thinking, is that what they meant? The first one is somehow proto-feminist, or the book's proto-feminist? Maybe that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of confused
Here's
there.
the wiki synopsis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a couple sentences here, so you have to bear with me. Um, Rebecca's boat is raised. Obviously, I'm fast forwarding. I'm not giving the whole
Yeah.
context here.
No.
Rebecca's boat's raised. It's deliberately sunk. An inquest begins. Jack Favell attempts to blackmail Maxim. It's revealed that Rebecca had an appointment with the doctor in London. The doctor's found. Malformation of her uterus. She could never become pregnant. She had cancer and was going to die within a few months. So both things are retconned. The fact that there's no way she could have been pregnant, and also she has cancer in the book, which is a better thing, sort of, because it
Sure.
sort of stabs both men, which is kind of cool. Um, anyway, Maxim assumes that Rebecca, knowing that she would die, manipulated him into killing her quickly. Miss Danvers sets off an inquiry that Rebecca feared nothing except dying a lingering death. On the hearing, that Miss Danvers has abruptly disappeared. Maxim senses a great foreboding and insists on driving through the night to return home. Before they come into the side of the house, it is clear from a glow on the horizon and windborne ashes that it is ablaze, and then it ends.
Huh.
So yeah, no happy ending, quote unquote, in
Okay.
the sense
I mean,
that the two are happily in love.
huh. Well, maybe that's just since we didn't read it. Is that all we got?
Um, I forgot I had one more, but that one took a lot of the steam out of my sails. The cinematic equivalent of a sexless marriage, 1.5 stars.
Well, yeah, funny. Not haha funny,
Right.
but funny. Yeah, that first one was too good actually.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I
we're at
think
1.5 stars.
what
1.5 stars. 1 star.
what do we give the original?
Uh, some amount of stars.
Whatever
Some.
amount of stars. I think kind of maybe worse. I don't know. Okay, but the answer to this is a boot, and I'm not sure there's any reason to watch it over the original. And I'm not sure there's a reason to watch the original, but that's a separate that's a little addendum.
We
And
gave it one. That's it.
okay, then we're putting it there. And that's it.
That's it.
All right, that's been episode 11 of Reboot or Deboot. Join us next time on episode 12 when we watch the French movie La Piscine. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. It's French.
Yep. The
And
pool.
and the remake A Bigger Splash. Until then, we are out of here.
They're the worst. They're the worst.